Hello BookTube, hello friends, welcome to LizziefayeLovesBooks. I'm Elizabeth, and today is Monday, March 11th, 2019, and I've been trying to put together a weekly reading vlog ever since the month of March started, and of course the beginning of March Mystery Madness, which, as you know, goes for the whole month of March, and I thought it would be fun to do weekly reading vlogs. I know several people that I watch do regular weekly reading vlogs all the time, and I don't usually do that, but I thought it would be fun just to try it. So I have done a few clips throughout the month of March so far with the plans of putting them together and posting them every Friday. Well, you know, the first Friday of March was the first day of March, and we did a live show, so I thought the next Friday I would go ahead and post the first 8 days of March and let you know what I've been reading. Well, that has come and gone, and I have been reading. I've been doing great. I've had an awesome month so far, but I've just had a hard time filming and especially editing. Editing is the most difficult thing. But I thought I would come on here today and just do a little intro and let you know what's been happening. So after this intro, I'm going to go straight into the clips that I have been filming since the beginning of the month. Actually, I started on March 3rd. I believe the last clip I filmed was on March 6th. So I'm going to go back and wrap up everything that I read through Friday, March 8th, and then go ahead and get this video uploaded. Then I'll come back and start with everything I've read and finished since Saturday. And I don't actually think I've finished anything since Friday night, but I do have 6 books that I'm currently reading. Hopefully I'll finish something today, and I've got plenty of things to talk about. I've been making a lot of progress in several books that I just haven't finished yet, but I have finished 5 so far, and I've already filmed clips telling you about a few of those. So let me go now to what was supposed to be my first clip of this reading vlog, and it will continue on through, and then I will come back at the end and tie everything up as quick as I can so I can get this uploaded, and then I will see you next week. Hopefully by Friday I will see you with another reading vlog for week 2 of March Mystery Madness. Hello BookTube, hello friends, welcome to LizziefayeLovesBooks. I'm Elizabeth, and today is Sunday, March 3rd, and March Mystery Madness is well underway. I thought that I might just sit down and do a bit of a vlog for you each day and tell you what I'm reading. I have so many books on my TBR that I haven't even been able to tell you about all of the books that I'm planning to read or hoping to read in either of my TBR videos, because I keep adding more to the list. So I thought it would be fun to just make it up as I go and just tell you what I'm reading as I pick them up to read them. So March 1st was Friday, and we did a live show. Besides myself, we had 2 other of the March Mystery Madness hosts. Originally, we had planned to have several other hosts in that live show as well, but for a variety of reasons, several of them had to back out, and so I had a lot of fun chatting with Kay from the channel KayT and Sarah from Steeped in Books, and we're hoping that a few of the other hosts will host other mid-month meetups throughout the month, and you will get to see some other live shows throughout the month, and they'll be chatting about a variety of topics related to mysteries. So we had a lot of fun doing that, and our reading sprints on Twitter have already started. I led some sprints this morning early. Alicia from the channel Pretty Brown Eyed Reader led some yesterday, and I want you to be sure you check the Twitter schedule so that you don't miss anything. There's going to be Monday meetups with Di that will be at noon Pacific time, which is her time, or 3 p.m. Eastern time, or later in the day if you're on the other side of the world. And we hope that you will join in and chat live with Di and any of the other hosts and participants who have time to join in. So this is mainly going to be a reading vlog, but I will also use this time to mention other things that are coming up. Of course, you won't see this until Friday, March the 8th or later, so I'll try to only promote things that are far enough in advance that you have time to actually see those. But anyway, mainly this is going to be about what I'm reading. So as usual, the first day of the month for me is usually spent rereading the last several pages of whatever book I was trying to finish in my sleep on the last day of the month, and this month was no different. I spent most of February 28th listening to an audiobook called The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I listened to that for a brand new book club that I have joined, but I still had 2 print books that I needed to read about 40 or 50 pages each, and it got to the end of the night and I was editing a video that I really wanted to get posted by February 28th, and it was my part 2 of my TBR, and it still didn't go up until an hour or 2 after midnight, and I still had not completely finished these books. So, being the legalistic person that I am, I sat down and I skimmed through the remainder of both of them, and of course then I had to spend the next day actually reading them because I wouldn't have remembered anything that I skimmed the night before. I did remember a little bit, but it still had to be done before I could write anything coherent about either of them for my Goodreads review. And then we had our live show on Friday night, and at that point I still had a few pages in each one that I had not finished. So I still had to keep rereading on into the next day. I finally got them done officially. I still marked them read for February because technically I did get through to the end of both of them on February 28th, but I didn't actually write my review until March the 2nd. So because I spent a couple of days finishing Queen of the Cookbooks by Ashton Lee and Here Lies the Librarian by Richard Peck, I didn't really get a good start on a mystery book until yesterday. On audio, I listened to Mr. Monk and the Blue Flu. This is book 3 in the Mr. Monk series, and in this book, Mr. Monk is actually reinstated into the San Francisco Police Department because a very large percentage of the San Francisco detectives and police have a blue flu. In other words, they are not able to legally strike, and so a majority of them call in sick. Of course, crime doesn't stop just because the police are calling in sick. So Mr. Monk and a ragtag bunch of other detectives who have lost their badges for one reason or another are reinstated temporarily to help with this crisis. And it was a very entertaining book, and if you enjoyed the Mr. Monk TV series and you want to try out the books, I don't think they need to be read in any certain order, especially if you're familiar with the Monk character, but I am reading them in order because that's just how I am. And I probably will go ahead and listen to book 4 this month as well, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into a few other books first, and then we'll see if I can get to book 4 this month. This is going to count for the prompt blue because, of course, blue is in the title and blue is on the cover. The spine is blue, and this is the perfect book for that prompt. In my car and for my read-along, I have started The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. I haven't gotten as far in this as I had hoped to by now. I had said that I was going to try to listen to at least 1 CD per day, but I just haven't been in my car that much on Friday and Saturday. So I'll have to do a little bit of catching up, maybe tomorrow, but I think I'll still be able to get it done by the time my book club meets on the 14th. I just am not quite to the place where I want to be at this point. A couple of people who are joining in on this read along with me have already made a good bit of progress and have already been commenting. So if you would like to jump in on this read along, I hope you will. If you go to the Mystery Madness Goodreads group, the threads for this book are not in the March Mystery Madness folder. They are in the Whodunits Mystery Book Club folder, which is my in real life mystery book club at my public library. And I also create discussion threads for all of the books that I'm reading in real life with my book club on the Mystery Madness Goodreads group. Now, I had 2 books that I did carry over from February. One of them was because it's a mammoth. And it just so happens that March of the Mammoths is going on right now, and I decided to go ahead and not stress about the fact that I was not even half done with it in February, and go ahead and finish it in March. Even though it's technically a romance, not a mystery, there is some criminal element, and I think it'll be fine. So this is Lorna Doone by R.D. Blackmore. I used this book for my Instagram post for day 2. The prompt was old, and this is definitely the oldest book on my currently reading list right now. And the cool thing about this book is that this is a currently checked out library book, and in the back it still has the due date card with checkouts dating back to the 1960s, still on the card. So check out my Instagram post. I took some photos of the book and posted those for day 2. So I have not picked this back up since February, except for just a few minutes, and I realized that I kind of lost. I'm not quite sure what's happening at the point in the story where I am, so I may have to backtrack just a little bit, and I'm not worried about finishing it anytime soon. It is a mammoth. It is 811 pages in print, so I'm just going to chink away at it through the month, and this will count for my March of the Mammoth TBR. I'm not even sure where I am at this point in the story. I started it on audio on the Audible Romance package, and I'm going to continue it on audio, but I checked out this print copy from the library, so I need to sit down and figure out exactly where my bookmark should go, and I should be able to tell you that the next time I check in with you. Then I looked in my cardboard box of TBR books at all of the books that I am reading in print. In other words, all of the ones that I can't get on audio, at least not for free. And I looked at those and decided that a really good one to pick up for a Sunday morning before church is one of the books that I have that is published by Guidepost. So this morning, actually last night, I read maybe 3 or 4 pages and then picked this back up for my reading sprints this morning. It's Timeless Treasures by Cara Putman. This is book 4 in the Patchwork Mysteries. This series is written by several different authors, and I'm really enjoying it. It is about a quilt restorer, and she finds mysteries in quilts, and invariably whatever quilt she is working on stirs up some sort of a mystery, and it's very interesting. I've really enjoyed these books so far. All of the ones that I have read have not had any kind of murder in them, and I'm fine with that. I know that wouldn't be as exciting as many of you would like, but for me it's perfect. And then I have another book I started in January, and I didn't really read it very much in February. It's on my Kindle, and I mainly didn't really worry about finishing it during February because it's a cozy mystery, and I knew that I really wanted to get those others done and make those the priority for getting finished before March. And since this is a mystery, it would be fine to go ahead and have it hanging over into March. And the book is Grave Mistake by Janice J. Richardson. This is book 3 in the Spencer Funeral Home Niagara Cozy Mystery series. I am about 17% in at this point. I just don't pick up my Kindle very often, but I do want to finish this month, possibly go ahead and start the next book. Although I have another cozy mystery series on ebook that I have purchased for my Kindle as well, and those are by Hope Callahan. So I don't know which I will pick up next after I finish Grave Mistake, but I do like to keep something going on my Kindle all the time, even if I don't pick it up very often. So that's everything that I'm currently reading on Sunday evening, March the 3rd. I will check back in again either later tonight or sometime tomorrow and let you know what I have read, and I think this will be fun. So I continued on with this book this morning for the reading sprints, and I finished chapter 1 and then went on and read the next 3 chapters. And then today we went to eat lunch after church with a few church friends. So while we were waiting for our table, I picked it up and read 2 or 3 pages, but I didn't get very far before our table was ready. So I will continue this some more tonight, and then I may go ahead and start something else before I finish this. You guys know I like to have multiple books going at one time, but we'll see. We'll see what a mood I get in, and I've got lots of books to read. Last night I sat down with my computer and my Goodreads page, and I sorted my TBR, sorted them between audiobooks and print books, and kind of put them in the order that I most wanted to read them in, but that could all go out the window at any given time. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I would love to hear about what you're reading so far for March Mystery Madness. In addition to the daily Instagram challenges, I would also love for you to post the books that you are currently reading, or as you finish a book, post about it either on Twitter or on Instagram, and be sure you use the hashtag March Mystery Madness, and on Twitter use the @MarchMissMadness. So be sure you post about what you are reading and stay in touch with us. If you have done a video about March Mystery Madness and I haven't commented to it, then I may not have seen it. So comment to this video, send me a link, let me know what video you have done, and I will be sure and watch it. So that's all I have for the moment. I will be back with another update soon. So many of you saw my Instagram post for day one of my messy TBR, my cardboard box full of all of the books that I would love to read this month. And I thought I would show you this cute little shelf that I purchased at a yard sale last weekend, and I've got it sitting here empty in my living room. So I'm going to see if maybe my TBR will fit in this shelf. Of course, I may not get to use the bottom shelf because my little boo is sitting in the bottom, and she has sort of made this her favorite place to sit. But I've definitely got two shelves, and I could use the top. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to see if these will fit in there comfortably, because this happens to be right across from the recliner in our living room. So I could sit here in the recliner and stare at my TBR and decide what I'm going to read next. So let's try it. Hello. If you've been following my channel for a while, you may recall a couple of years ago when I picked little Boo up off the 4-lane road in the nearby town. She was about 3 weeks old and her eyes were swollen shut. So you may not be able to tell from this video, she still has clouded over eyes. She does have some sight loss as far as we know, but she doesn't know it. She's always had the vision that she has, and she doesn't let it bother her. So she's just a cute little adorable brat, and I love her. Okay, so this turned out pretty nice. On the very top are the audiobooks on CD that I am not listening to right now. There is one other one, but it's in my car, so as I need those for the car or the kitchen, then of course those will be removed to where they're going to be listened to. The top shelf is my mass market paperbacks. The half on the right I am going to be listening to on audio. The half on the left I do not have audio available. A couple of those are placeholders. They are later books in the series, and I'll be getting the appropriate book from the library that I need to read. Then the second shelf are books that I only have in print. This and the half on the left are going to be the selections that I don't finish, because I'm not going to be able to read that many books in print. But I wanted to go ahead and have all the possibilities out here so that I can choose what I'm in the mood for. A few of these are higher priority than others, and for example, the Carl Hyacin book in the middle, I need to read that both for my read-along and also for my book club. Other than that, there are a few that are for read-alongs, and there are some that I've just been wanting to get to for a long time. And then the very bottom are books that I just wanted to have the print copy on hand, but I'm going to be listening to those on audio. In fact, Lorna Doone there on the right I have already started, and Woman in the Window I have already started in my car. So that's what the shelf looks like, and having it right here in front of me has reminded me of some other books and audiobooks that I needed to order from the library. So I got those ordered tonight, and of course when they all come in there won't be room for all of them on the shelf. So I'll have to worry about that when the time comes. Hello, I'm back. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around checking in every once in a while. I'm not used to doing this vlog style video, so I think the last time I filmed anything for this video was Sunday, March the 3rd, and it's already Wednesday, March the 6th. I neglected to do any updates on Monday or Tuesday. I can't even remember what all I did on Monday. I know that for whatever reason I didn't do any filming. I did do some reading, and I'll catch you up today on what all I've been reading since Sunday. And then yesterday I had a full day at my theme park job, so I did get some reading done there. And so now it's midday on Wednesday, and I've already been reading some this morning, both audio and in print. So let me catch you up on what I've been reading. On Sunday morning, I hosted some reading sprints. I almost said bright and early, but it was actually dark and early at about 5 a.m. my time, from 5 to 7. And this is what I read during that time. Is Timeless Treasures by Cara Putman. It's one of the patchwork mysteries published by Guidepost. And since then, I have been averaging about 5 chapters a day in this book, and I am on track to finish it by Friday. So I have really been enjoying it. It's about a quilt restorer named Sarah, and in this particular book it starts out where her and her daughter-in-law are going to an estate auction, and she finds a box of quilts there to purchase, and while she's getting ready to pay for them, a couple drives up and demands that the auction be stopped, that they are the heirs to this man's estate and they didn't give the approval for this estate auction to be held and all of that. So the auctioneer, meanwhile, has already auctioned off quite a bit of the belongings, and they do go ahead and stop it. And so the couple who claim to be heirs to the property do manage to get the auctioneer to stop and not sell any more things, and they start this very strange search for an heirloom, but they don't even know what the heirloom is. Supposedly it's some sort of missing treasure. It all sounds really suspicious. They don't really give any explanation of exactly what they're looking for. They don't even seem to know exactly what they're looking for. And he goes through the box of quilts that Sarah is buying, and he says, oh, there's nothing here, you can have those. So she takes the quilts home and she begins to go through them a square at a time, which is what she does. And sometimes when she purchases quilts, she will restore them to sell. But this one really strange quilt in the box is a sampler quilt, and the patterns don't seem to go together. And so she's in the process now of examining each quilt pattern and trying to figure out why the quilter put these particular patterns together, if there's some sort of mystery or some sort of story behind the quilt. And meanwhile, this couple is still going around town bothering people, trying to round up all the things that were sold in the auction. So there's a lot of mysterious things going on, and I'm really intrigued by this book. This whole series has just been really fun, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. So I am really looking forward to finishing it. I have less than half left to go. I've got one more chapter left to read today, and then another 15 chapters after that. So I will let you know how it turns out. Another book I am rereading, and I'm half done, is a graphic novel. I decided to pick this up. I was inspired by 2 of the other March Mystery Madness hosts, Jen from Remembered Reads and Alicia, the Pretty Brown Eye Reader, because they are both reading mystery graphic novels this month for March Mystery Madness. And I thought, you know, it would be fun to read a mystery graphic novel. And I remembered that I had this on my shelf. Actually, I had already moved this to one of my TBR bins because I've read this before, and I felt like it was something that I could pass on to another friend who's a big Muppet fan. But I kind of wanted to read it again because when I read this the first time, I had not ever read any Sherlock Holmes. I hadn't watched any Sherlock Holmes adaptations or anything like that. And by the way, if you can't read the title, this is Muppet Sherlock Holmes. It's published by Boom Kids. The artist is Amy Meberson and the writer is Patrick Stork. And so I'm a Muppet fan myself, and I had read this the first time and I just didn't really get it. I didn't get the Sherlock Holmes references because I hadn't read any actual Sherlock Holmes. Now that I've read a couple of them, I do understand it a little more. I at least know a little bit about who some of the characters are, and I understand some of the jokes. There are a lot of jokes that I don't really understand, and I think there are a lot of jokes in here that are just silly jokes because it's Muppets, and those I kind of get. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. There's 4 separate chapters or stories in this book, and I've read 2 of them, and I'm realizing that I had no memory of them at all. So I know that I've read through this book before, but I must have just gone through it in a blur, thinking, well, I'm not going to understand it until I've read Sherlock Holmes, and I just sort of went through the motions of reading it, I suppose. Anyway, now I am enjoying it a little bit more. Still not a 5-star read or anything, but I think that I can get the gist of the stories by reading through it one more time, and then I'll be able to pass it on to my friend who is an even bigger Muppet fan than I am. In case you can see my visitor, I have a friend behind me. This is Morris. He's KayT's cat, and he decided to perch himself up on the chair, and even though I was getting ready to film, I didn't have the heart to move him, so he's resting comfortably there, and apparently I'm not bothering him by filming here. So these are the only 2 print books that I have been reading so far. I might get the Muppet book done today, or I might just read the 3rd chapter today and the 4th one tomorrow. I'm not a fast graphic novel reader. I know some people can zip through these in no time flat. I always want to read through it slowly to appreciate the artwork and to try to understand the text, and sometimes it's hard to know which bubble goes first. Also, the print is tiny, so I've got to make sure I have my reading glasses on when I sit down to read it as well. So on audio, I have finished 2 books so far for March Mystery Madness. I have posted both of those on Instagram. I may have already mentioned the first one in the first part of this video. The book I read for the prompt Blue is Mr. Monk and the Blue Flu by Lee Goldberg. And then on Monday, I finished the end of Act 3 by Gilbert Morris. This is book 3 in the Danny Ross mystery series. And as I've mentioned before, this series has 2 different editions. The Danny Ross mystery series has 4 books, and it was a re-release of stories that had been published under different titles. And the name of the original series was the Danielle Ross Mysteries, also of course by Gilbert Morris, because they're the same stories. The original title of this book was called The Final Curtain, and it was actually book 2 in the original series. So in this book, there's a very famous actor who has been threatened. He has a play that is coming up very soon, and someone has written him threatening letters and told him that if he proceeds with this play, he will come to a bad end, and also others who are involved in the play will. So because Danny has had some theater experience, he hires Danny to be undercover and become part of the cast and investigate who is threatening him. And through it all, there are some other murders that take place through the story. This is a really interesting series because it is a Christian-based series, and most Christian-based mysteries do not involve murder. They involve other types of crime, and this one does include murder. And I would go so far as to say that I wouldn't really consider this a cozy mystery. Number 1, the sleuth is a professional detective, and number 2, it doesn't really have a particular theme other than the fact that it's a Christian-based mystery. So I don't know, it falls somewhere in the middle. It's not graphic at all, but it's not necessarily what I would consider cozy either. I think I've enjoyed this book just about as much as I did the first book. In the first book, Danny was kidnapped and held in a silo with some other people, and they didn't know who their kidnapper was or why they were being kidnapped for quite a while, and that was a really interesting book. Book 2 in this series was called And Then There Were Two. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one and this one. This one I thought was really good. I enjoyed the theater theme of it and the play, and the dynamics between the characters I thought was very good. It was very good pacing, and the story continued to move along. For some reason, the second one I just couldn't get into. I don't know, the second one was just not very interesting. I don't know. But this one I thought was very enjoyable, and I am now looking forward more to the fourth one than I was to this one, because I was worried that I was not going to enjoy this one very much since I didn't really enjoy book 2. But now that I have really enjoyed this one, I'm looking forward to the next one. Another thing about this one that I thought was better, because it is a Christian book, Dani Ross is a Christian, and there are times in the books when she will share her faith with other people. And in the second book, I thought it was more contrived. It didn't really come naturally. It didn't feel natural. And I thought to myself, even though I'm a Christian, I thought the situations where she was sharing her faith didn't feel like that would really happen in real life, and if it did, it would be awkward. And in this book, the times when she shared her faith, I thought was very natural. It was fitting. It fit with the story, and it was appreciated, and I just thought it was more well done than in the other book. And so if that sounds interesting to you, then I would recommend this book. And I would say that if you're reading them in this edition, there's really not any need for you to go in this order, because in the original series, this was book 2. So really you could just skip, and then there were 2, and go straight to this one. In my car, I've been listening to The Woman in the Window, and just this morning I got done with the first section. I divided this into 4 sections for the purposes of discussing it on the Mystery Madness Goodreads group. It's in the Whodunits folder. So now that I am done with the first section, I will be going on there later today and chatting about the first section. I know a couple of people have already been on there chatting about it and discussing it, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they have written and writing my own thoughts, and then moving on to part 2. It has just started to get a little bit creepy. The first section is just learning about the characters and the main character and what her day-to-day life is like. So we'll see what happens after this. I don't know. I hear that it's a real page turner, so I'm looking forward to listening to this in my car. KayT has a Winter Guard competition that is 2.5 hours away on Saturday, and I think I'm going to go. I may as well. I've got all these audiobooks to listen to. I've got a bunch of them on CD, so I might as well just hit the road for a fun road trip and listen to some of these in my car. So this, I think, is going to be very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to chatting about it with you guys who are reading it with me. And I started The Stranger by Harlan Coben. This is one of the read-alongs that Laura from Mom to Triplets 04 is doing on her channel and in her Goodreads group. I started this the other day in the house, and I think I've only gotten through about 3 chapters so far. So I have not listened to enough of it to decide yet if I'm going to love it or not, but I have heard really great things about Harlan Coben, so I'm looking forward to it. And then another read-along that another March Mystery Madness host is doing is Bluebird by Attica Locke. FreeFormLady is reading this one, and she started a Goodreads group just for this read along. So if you go to her channel, you'll be able to get a link to the group, and then you have to request to join. It's a private group, but I'm sure if you are wanting to read this book with her, then you can easily get in that group. I have not started this book yet, but I think I might go ahead and start this today and at least try to read 1 chapter and see how it goes. I don't know anything about this, but when I read the description and saw that it takes place in Texas, I was very intrigued. I'm originally from Oklahoma, lots of family in Texas, and because I have read The Cutting Season by Attica Locke and really enjoyed it, I was very interested to read another one of her books. And since there's a group already reading this for March Mystery Madness, I figured why not go ahead and read it. I haven't decided yet if I will get this on audio or not. It's not available through my library or any of my library apps. So I've got some Audible credits that I could use. So I'm going to go ahead and start it in print and kind of decide if it's something I can read through quick enough, or if it's going to be very dense and hard to read, then I might go ahead and use one of my Audible credits to get it on audio. This will be my second book by Attica Locke, and I love that it also has blue in the title. I have 3 books on my TBR that have the word blue in the title. In fact, I took a picture of all 3 of those and posted on my Instagram this morning, because that's the Instagram prompt today, blue, which segues me into chatting about Instagram for just a minute. I hope that you have been checking out the Instagram posts and that you have been posting and participating in the Instagram challenges. If you haven't, it's not too late to jump in. You can jump in where we are, or you can go back and do the prompts that you missed. And because so many people are participating, I'm thinking of doing a little giveaway for all the participants in the Instagram challenges who do a post for each challenge. I think I will put your name into a hat and give away some sort of a prize. I haven't decided for sure what it will be. It might be a selection of bookmarks. It might be some other type of bookish item. I don't know. I'm going to go to the local bookstore and see if they have anything fun that looks like something that people would enjoy having. And so if you have not been participating in the Instagram challenges and you've thought about doing it, it's not too late to start. And you, like I said, you can go back and do the challenges that you already missed. If you want to do 2 a day until you catch up, or just do all in one day until you catch up to today, or if you just want to do them like a week at a time and do all 7, however you want to do it, or every single day like a lot of us are doing. I hope you will participate. It has been really fun to see everyone's posts, and so many more people are participating in the Instagram challenges this year than last year, and I'm just super excited about it. It has really been fun, and I hope that even if you don't want to participate, that you will at least go on and view everyone's posts and click like and support the people who are doing the posting and just have fun with it. Back to what I'm reading. I think I didn't mention my Mammoth book yet. I'm reading Lorna Doone for March of the Mammoth. I know I had planned only to read mysteries, and this is really more of a romance, but there, like I said before, there's a crime family involved, so we're just going to let it slide. We're going to just include it right in with the mix. And it's okay. It's not really anything earth-shattering. It's kind of slow. Right now they're describing a very harsh winter that they're going through, and I don't know, I'm a little over half done with it. I think I have 30 chapters left at this point. I've already listened to 2 or 3 chapters today, and now that I have exactly 30 chapters left, I think my goal is going to be to listen to 5 chapters a day, which is roughly 2 hours. I've got about 12 hours left, and then I will finish it in the next 6 days. So that's going to be my goal here. I'm listening to this on Audible. It is on the Audible Romance package, and I will let you know more about it as I continue on. I'm not really invested in the story yet. I've just been kind of trying to follow along as best I can, but maybe it'll get a little more exciting as I go, and if not, then oh well, at least I can check this classic off my list, and I'll let you know more about it as I continue to read. So that's all for this update. I have still got a few more things waiting on me at the library. I've been trying to check out print copies of everything that I'm listening to on audio, just so that I have a visual. And so I think I've got 4 more books waiting for me at the library. I have so many more things I want to read. Later this evening I have church and Easter music practice, so I won't be able to read anything for a couple of hours there. But between now and then I'm going to be doing some laundry and some housework, and since I've already met my Lorna Doone goal for the day, I think I'm going to start a new audiobook, and I think I'm going to start one of the books that Sarah is reading for this month. It's her March Mystery Madness read-along. I believe it's called Beaches, Bungalows, and Burglaries by Tonya Kappes, and I have it checked out on Hoopla. It's only 5 hours long on audio, so I can probably get that done today while I am doing some work around the house. And if I need a break between chapters, then I might get a little bit of editing done. I have filmed my February wrap-up a few days ago, but I haven't even started editing it. So that's all for now. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, I'm back. So I told you that I'm actually filming this last segment on Monday, March 11th, but I'm only going to talk about the books that I finished through Friday, March the 8th. And then I'll start another vlog and tell you about everything that I've read since then. So in the earlier clips, I told you about the first two books I finished, which is Mr. Monk and the Blue Flu by Lee Goldberg and The End of Act 3 by Gilbert Morris. Then I think the next book I finished was on audio. I either listened to it on my Kindle or on my phone, and I will put up a picture. It's called Beaches, Bungalows, and Burglaries. This is the March Mystery Madness read-along that Sarah is hosting on her channel for March Mystery Madness, and of course Sarah's channel is steeped in books. This is book 1 in the Camper and Criminals Cozy Mystery series by Tonya Kappes. It was only a 5-hour long audiobook and I loved it. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the fact that it was short because I knew that I wasn't going to be making a big time commitment to it, but it was really a cute book, and I can think of a few things that could have been added to make the book a little bit longer that would have been enjoyable. It is about a woman whose husband was arrested because of a Ponzi scheme, and so everything they jointly owned was lost to her, and the only thing she has left were two things that were in her name that she really didn't know anything about, but her husband had put them in her name: an RV and a campground. So she takes the RV, goes to the campground, and begins to make a life there. At first she thought she would sell it, but through it all, she ends up getting to know the people there and decides that she wants to fix the campground up and make a better life for the people who are living there. Now, in the beginning, she is not a camper. She doesn't have any experience camping. I think a lot of things could have come into play there that would have made for some really funny moments, just with her getting used to camping life and learning things that the average urban dweller wouldn't necessarily know about camping. I think that if I was going to ask for anything more from the book, that's where I would have added some things, because my husband and I are campers, and I could think of a myriad of things that would have been hilarious that she probably wouldn't have known how to do. So anyway, it was a fun book. I listened to this on Hoopla Audio, and so far that's the only book of the series that's on Hoopla, and I really hope that they will add some more of the series to Hoopla, because I would love to listen to more of them on audio. I think there's a total of 6 books in the series so far, and I would love to read all of them. And I love the covers. Each of the covers feature a different camper, and all of the covers are so cute. So that makes me want to read them just because of the campers themselves. Now, the title was a little misleading. The things that were in the title, I didn't feel like the actual title fit exactly with what was featured in the book specifically. But it's okay. It was still a really fun book, and I think I rated it 5 stars because I enjoyed it so much. Earlier in the video, I talked about Timeless Treasures by Cara Putman. I did finish this book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And in addition to what I already told you, this book featured a treasure hunt, even a World War II love story, and I really, really am loving this series. And then another book I started and finished since the last segment that I filmed was Day of the Dead by J.A. Jance. This is book 3 in the Walker family series. So far, this series is quite a bit different than the other J.A. Jance books. Her J.P. Beaumont series and her Joanna Brady series are both mysteries. You don't know who the villains are until the end of the story. I have not read the Allie Reynolds series, so I'm not sure the format of it. But so far in this series, you do know from the very beginning who the villains are, and I mean to tell you, there are some sickos in these books. This series is really tough to read because it's very dark. You really get to see into the criminal minds in these books, and it can be very disturbing. So I would give some trigger warnings for rape, especially in these books, and just grisly violence in general, because these are tough to read. That being said, though, I flew through this book in, I think, less than 24 hours. I didn't want to put it down. I really was invested in the story, even more so than the first 2 books of the series. There's a lot going on in this series, a lot of different characters, and you do have to pay attention and follow it, but still very compelling, and I definitely do plan to read the last two in the series, especially because book 5 is supposed to be a mashup with the J.P. Beaumont series. And I think I have 2 or 3 more J.P. Beaumont novels to read before I get to book 5 in this series. So by the end of Friday night, March 8th, I had finished a total of 5 books for March Mystery Madness. And as of right now, I have 6 more books on my currently reading list on Goodreads. And I've also read the first few pages of 2 or 3 others, just trying to decide what I really want to dive into next. But I'm going to go ahead and stop this vlog for now and wrap this up because it's already Monday and I need to get this posted. So that's all I have for this video. I would love to know what you're reading for March Mystery Madness. Please let me know in the comments, and be sure you are posting on Instagram what you're reading and or on Twitter. There are Twitter sprints happening almost every day, and they are hosted by a variety of March Mystery Madness hosts. So I hope you will check those out, and be sure to check out all of their videos. Go on YouTube and search the hashtag March Mystery Madness, or just search March Mystery Madness, and check out all of the March Mystery Madness videos that are happening this month. So that's all for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.